Now, they call it the change, and for millions of Australian women, it's one of the biggest shifts they'll experience in their lifetime. So should workforces be making their workplaces more menopause-friendly? Not everyone seems to think so.
As I hit 51 years old, I really started to experience some of the symptoms around anxiety, hip pain, joint pain. A lot of the things that I did on a day-to-day basis started to become much more difficult.
As a GM with St John Ambulance, Karen Stewart can handle just about anything that's thrown her way. But when menopause came along, she was thrown for six.
The anxiety was the thing that really floored me because in my career, I was a paramedic on road for over 20 years and I'd never had a problem with sort of confidence or having anxiety, so that was something that really affected me.
Karen is part of a growing push to make workplaces more menopause-friendly, starting with her own.
We've got menopause-friendly accreditation. I think we're only one of 4 in Australia. The main thing is raising that awareness so people feel comfortable to be able to speak about their signs and their symptoms and how they're feeling.
The accreditation, which provides bosses with resources and training to support women going through menopause, is the brainchild of Grace Malloy, CEO and co-founder of Menopause-Friendly Australia.
What we do is to help employers take significant action towards being a menopause-friendly employer. It means that they've created an environment where women can openly talk about menopause. They can ask for what they need without feeling stigmatised or that it's a taboo topic.
38 other companies are currently working to gain accreditation with Menopause-Friendly Australia, including the Parliament of Victoria and the Commonwealth Bank. But not everyone's a fan.
I think we need to be careful not to present midlife women as inherently incapacitated by menopause, because that's just not the case.
Dr. Sarah White says the move could actually make women's lives worse.
We know that gendered ageism is a real problem in Australian workplaces, and I do worry that some of these courses are kind of presenting midlife women as having inherent challenges and issues. You know, the subtext is you have to pay all this money and do all these courses just for women in midlife.
For many women, though, it's a moot point. An increasing number of women aged 45 to 55 are stepping away from leadership positions, reducing hours, or even retiring altogether because of the difficulties of managing menopause in the workplace.
What will hurt women's reputation in work more is if we continue to ignore menopause, continue to stay silent about this normal life phase.
We're the first females to actually go through this sort of generation of menopause and being in the height of our careers. We need to make things better for the young women that are coming through behind us as well.
I'm unsure how best to tackle such a gigantic topic like this within workplaces. I'm just happy that the conversation is starting though, right? I mean, it is something that will affect us at some point in the future. And I think even for me, it shows my own naivety because it's one that I wouldn't even consider until it was actually happening.
Absolutely. And I think the conversations need to continue, definitely in the workplaces, but between friends and family and involving the conversation with men as well. I was very lucky in a family of 7 women that I had a dad who looked into this sort of thing as I was growing up. And I remember him buying quite a lot of evening primrose oil, to be honest, and saying, I just want to have everything around mum that she needs at this time. And kind of we spoke about it. I know how rare that is. I know how lucky I am. But even now, and I have an interest in this, I remember going for a walk with one of my friends only at the beginning of this year, and she was telling me about shoulder pain and how that's directly related to menopause, and I honestly had no idea. The list of symptoms are endless. The more we talk about it and demystify it, the better. And whatever the way forward is for workplaces, I am not the expert, but I think conversation has to be part of it.
Has to, and also bringing men into that conversation.
Yeah,
too.
completely,
It's
because
really
there's I just sort of think about growing up and how no one talked about periods ever, even into sort of my 20s, maybe 30s, you know, and no one... Basically, so much female health is just, let's not talk about this.
Yeah.
We can't talk about it here, we can't talk about it at home, we can't talk about it anywhere. And so, like, even this conversation where I'm awkwardly trying to work out what to say about the menopause is quite useful because somebody else might have this conversation or might feel like they can start this conversation with a partner or a friend or whatever.
100%, because also sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. Definitely. There was a new study that was released today by MyPause that said 1 in 4 women would prefer to speak to AI than a human about their symptoms. So you just got to start. You just got to start the chat.
Absolutely.